Hey guys, in this video I want to walk through your first translation worksheet with you. Now you can find this translation worksheet on the back side of your Chapter 2 memory worksheet. You'll notice that this particular translation worksheet is divided into two parts. On the top half they show you the abbreviations for parsing or decoding a verb, and on the bottom half they give you 5 verbs that they want you to parse or decode. Now I do want to take a look at these abbreviations because I'd like us to make some slight changes to them. As we parse through our verbs, we'll remember that there are 3 characteristics of a verb that we're describing when we parse. There's person and number and, of course, tense. When you're abbreviating person, you simply have to write a 1, 2, or 3, just as they've shown you here. 1, 2, or 3. Now, when we abbreviate the number, singular or plural, remember number answers the question, how many? They suggest that you write an S for singular and a PL for plural. I'm going to make one slight change, and that is that I would rather you simply write the letter P for plural. And then when we look at the options for tense, we have learned 3 tenses, present, imperfect, and future. And instead of these shorter abbreviations they offer here, for every tense that we learn, I'd like us to write the first 3 letters of that tense when we parse. So for present, PRE, for imperfect, IMP, and for future, FU. I think that'll help us avoid some confusion later on. Now, as we think about the actual parsings that we're being asked to do in this particular assignment, we want to take a look at each of these individual verbs. So here we have the first one, orat. Now, I know they've done this one for you, but I'd still like to walk through it with you real quickly. You'll notice that the ending on this verb is simply a T. Our first step in parsing a verb is always to find the ending, and here we have the ending a T. Now this ending comes from our present tense endings, which we've learned as O, S, T, mus, tis, and unt. Once we've found our ending on that chant, it's right here, we should be able to parse it. It's on the 3rd row. That means it's 3rd person. You can see it's labeled as 3rd person. It is singular because it's in the left-hand column. And it is present tense. Present tense. We're going to write a PRE for present tense. Now, our second verb is the verb ordinabend. And to identify the ending, we find it right here. Bunt, B-U-N-T, ordinabend. Now, bunt comes from our future tense endings, which we've learned as bo, bis, bit, bimus, bitis, and lastly, bunt, which is the ending that we're actually looking for. Now, this particular ending is on the 3rd row, which makes it 3rd person. It is on the 2nd or the right-hand column, which makes it plural. And then these are all, of course, future tense endings. So we're going to write F-U-T right here for future tense. Now, we're not required to translate these on this particular assignment, even though it's called a translation worksheet. But I think it's helpful if we do. So if we break this ending down into its basic parts, we should be able to translate. The NT here is the basic ending. And we've learned that the NT or unt means they. And then we work our way toward the beginning. The BU comes from the BE, the future tense marker. So we're going to translate it as will. And then ordina comes from the stem ordinare, the infinitive form ornare, which means to equip. So it is they will equip. They will equip. Now on to number 3. Putabam. Here's our ending on number 3. Putabam. That's one of our imperfect endings. We've learned those as bomb, boss, bot, bombus, botis, and bont. All right, hopefully you can see the ending there. It's the very first one. It's on the 1st row, so it's 1st person, left-hand column, so it's singular, and these are imperfect tense endings. Now, again, you don't have to translate these, but if we were, we would start at the end and work our way to the beginning. The M has the same meaning as the O, so it's going to be translated as I. The BA is was or were. I was. Puta comes from putare, which means to think. So I was thinking. I was thinking. All right. So those are our first three. Let's move on to number 4. Expectabitus. Expectabitus. Here's our ending. Bitus from those future tense endings. Bo, bis, bit, bimus, bitus, bunt. Now we shouldn't have to write out all the endings every time. We should be able to picture them in our head. So we've already acknowledged that those are future tense endings. So we'll simply go ahead and write our tense in here. Future. And then we notice that the bitus, bimus, bitus, is on the second row. So it's second person. It's on the right-hand column, so it's plural. Second person, plural, future tense. Again, if we were to translate it, the tis there means y'all. The bi comes from the be, which means will. And expectare means to expect, so y'all will expect. And finally, number 5, prabo. Now, this one could be a bit confusing. You may think that BO is your ending, but remember your verb forms. This is from the verb probare, probare. So when we chop off the RE, we're left with PROBA. And we notice that this B right here is a part of the stem. It's part of the stem. And so we've not added a BO to this from the future tense. We've simply added an O. And if you'll recall, when we add the O, it turns into a little Pac-Man, and it eats the A. So we end up with prabo. So our ending comes from the present tense endings. O-S-T, mus, tis, unt. First person, because it's on the first row. Singular, because it's in the left-hand column. And as I said, present tense. So if we were translating this, it would simply be I for the O. Again, working our way backwards. I. And then probare means to approve. So I approve. All right, guys, I hope this has been helpful. See you in class.